the Shabbos before Shavuos, it was right before Shavuos Kabbalas HaTorah. So we begin again now. The next time we'll finish will be by Shavuos Tammuz, where there is the Shtabra Luchos. By the Churban Beis HaMikdash, the Luchos were broken. Moshe Rabbeinu came down from Sinai, and he saw that they made the Egel, so he broke the Luchos. So again, it has to do with Luchos. We begin again by Rosh Chodesh, where Moshe Rabbeinu began to receive again another set of Luchos. Each time it has to do with Luchos. Every Yid has a chelik in the world to come, and they share eternity. A blank check. You're a Yid, your mother was Jewish, you're born a Yid, so you have a share in Haba. Somebody asked Chofetz Chaim, he said, the Chazal, our sages, they give a Yid a blank check. You here, do what you want, live how you want, do whatever you want, when you want, how you want. You don't have to give a cheshbon, and you're just waiting for eternity in Haba. What kind of pshat is that? Why is the Chazal? He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to do mitzvahs. Doesn't have to work. He doesn't have to work on himself and meet his taivas. He doesn't do what you want, how you want. Enjoy yourself. Good. Chofetz Chaim said, he said, no, it's not that simple. He said there was a very good-hearted philanthropist, a Yid Brodsky, in Europe, and he had a factory, a fabrik. Besides the regular workers, that each one had a skill in their hands, and they earned their day's wages honorably. There were those who, unfortunately, they suffered poverty extreme. They couldn't find a job. They couldn't perform any kind of duty, they had no skill. So he would, to they have their dignity remain intact, he would hire them and give them some kind of meaningless job that adds up to nothing. The main thing would be that he should show up every day, and at the end of the work, like everybody else, end of the week, they should get a check like everyone else. So one time he came, the owner of the factory, Mr. Brodsky, he came one time to tour his plant, the factory, and the foreman introduced them to different departments, those are different, perform different labors, and he spoke with each one. What do you do? What do you do? And he told them what they do. Then he came across somebody, and he said, one of the workers there, he said, what is your job? What do you do? He said, my job is on payday every Thursday to get a check. So you can imagine, he was the laughing stock of the whole factory. So it was one of those unfortunate individuals that had no skill in his hands. Just out of the goodness of his heart, Mr. Brodsky was helping him. So Chofetz Chaim said the same thing. Of course, every year at Kwad Yisrael, he has a title, a deed for Olam Haba. But woe unto the one who didn't work for it, didn't earn it, and will come, he'll stand before the Kisei HaKol, he'll stand before the Rebbeinu Shalom, and he said, Rebbeinu Shalom said, yes, what can I do for you? Chaim, what can I do for you? So he said, what do you mean? I'm here. Our sages tell us that every Yid has a share in the world to come. I came to collect my share in the world to come. He said, what did you do to deserve it? Did you work? Did you earn it? What kind of life? Did you learn Torah? Did you do mitzvahs? Did you do kindness? So how do you... So he says, the laughter that the one in the plant endured is no comparison to the embarrassment that someone who comes on the next world and he didn't work, and didn't earn, didn't deserve, he should not have Haba. And he said, what do you mean? I said that every Jew has a share in the world to come. How he'll be a laughing stock, and so a laughter embarrassment that'll never go away. Moshe came to Yeshua. Moshe Rabbeinu, he received the Torah on Har Sinai. So Yeshua, and he gave it over to Yeshua, and Yeshua came the whole Messiah tradition, how until today, how we have our Torah, our Gemara, our Shas and Poskim, our Shulchan Aruch, how we have it all today, goes back to when Moshe Rabbeinu stood on Shavuos on Har Sinai, and he received the Torah. This, of course, this is referring to Moshe Rabbeinu from Sinai, is referring to not what we take out alone every Shabbos, and we read the Parshas HaShavua. That's the Torah. The Torah is divided into two parts. There's the written Torah, Torah Sheviksav, and Torah Sheval Peh, and the oral Torah. The oral Torah is the Gemara, Shas and Poskim, the Talmud. The Talmud, that's the oral Torah. So it was here referring to Moshe Kibbutz Torah Sinai. In addition to when he received the 613 commandments, he also received the oral Torah that's handed down by mouth from generation to generation. What was the purpose of an oral Torah? Why wasn't it all recorded? In fact, our sages tell us that throughout the generations there were lost many halachas. It's with great anguish and sorrow. Our sages record that many laws, halachas were lost because our intellectual peak was at our stand-up Mount Sinai, and from then on, intellectually, technologically, we might see advances, but that's only because there's an accumulation of everybody's contribution to technological contributions. But intellectually, our retentive powers, our intellect, was its very peak at Mount Sinai. And from then on, it kept on despite Adoros Valvos, it kept on diminishing. So why wasn't the entire Torah handed down a complete, everything written? You know, everybody's enthralled, all excited about online. Online, you learn this, you learn that, you can do it, you can sit home, you don't have to have a teacher, a Rabbi, you don't have a Chaim, a Chavrusa. Online, you can pick up everything. It's not so. There was somebody one time. He was a lady in the house. She was cooking, doing something, a stew, a pot with meat, with potatoes, everything, and she had a maid in the house. So you told her to put in there some kind of ingredient to put into the pot. So by mistake, instead of putting in a part or a fleshig ingredient, she poured in milk. So the husband considered himself a Shtivel Talmud Chacham. He learned a piece of Gemara one time. So he told his wife, "It's okay, you can eat it." He says, "Why?" Because the Gemara says, like you said, Torah is going mutter. The Gemara says that for a number of reasons, if a Gentile, in only certain occasions, if a Gentile makes a mistake in money matters, and he overpays you or he gives you more than you're supposed to get, in certain instances only, you're permitted to benefit it. You don't have to tell him, because the Gemara brings it could come out. There could come out from that problem. It could come out for a Jew. He might anti-Semitism could sometimes come out. They'll turn the facts around, and so you just have to forget about it and use it. So that's what it's talking about. So the husband, he learned one time, he read online. So he read something, Torah is going mutter. If a boy makes a mistake, it's good. So he told him it applies to a pot of meat. You put the milk in the meat, make milk. If a boy made a mistake, you mean that's the online. But there's much more to it than that. It also, there has to be transmitted with the actual halacha, which the law, with the Torah, there has to be transmitted something far more that's not really tangible. You can't take it in your hands. That than just the halach itself. And in actual life, we see it all the time. You have to sit by the feet of your teacher, of your Rebbe, of a Godel, and with the Torah itself, they're transmitted much more than the recorded word itself. And you find it in life all the time. Doctors, lawyers, they, without going to law school, without studying under a professor, a lecturer, so they're not finished yet. There was someone had a child that ran a fever for a while, and he was the pediatrician examined him, took tests, and with a very drawn face, he sat the parents down. He said, "Unfortunately, your child has a dreaded illness. Your child has leukemia. All the tests show leukemia." You heard about a Dr. Griffiths. They called him second opinion doctor in Mount Sinai. Made an appointment, and they went to see this Dr. Griffiths. So they come with the child, and the doctor is talking to the parents for 15 minutes, asking all about the child from the time he was born, and then until today, everything all about him. And he's watching, observing the child crawling all over the place, turning his offices upside down, crawling into this medicine chest, playing with all of his instruments. So then he turns to the parents. He says to them, somebody told you that your child has leukemia? I don't believe it. The way he commanded this here, the way he turned my office over, there's nothing wrong with that child. Nothing seriously wrong. But I'll take my own tests. So he drew blood, and he sent it up to the laboratory. He says, I'm waiting. He told them, I'm waiting here for results. They called him, they said, Dr. Griffiths, leukemia. He says, read it again. A couple minutes later, call him back, and he remains steadfast. They call him again, they tell him it's leukemia. Call him a third time, says leukemia. Finally, a fourth time, he said, oh, doctor, you're right, it's not leukemia. We made a mistake. Where did he get this from? You know, everything that added up, from the chemistry, from the blood tests, from the counts, the white corpuscle, the red corpuscle, this, that, everything together, not enough. He was sitting at the foot of a professor in school. That's the oral law. The oral, what he runs with. In law, you find the same thing many times. We opened up our besmedrash, so we have problems. We have those that, unfortunately, those that report us to the building department that we were conducting a house of worship without a certificate of occupancy. So there was an attorney. He took him with himself a piece of Olam Haba. He defended us. Without him, our doors would not be open. We were under $50 a day fine for keeping the doors, for having a house of worship without a certificate of occupancy. 50 days a day fine. We have to close our door and to remove all signs that indicate that it's a shul. We opened up our doors. It was before Rosh Hashanah in 1975, and that weekend, that year, Labor Day was almost there of Yom Tov. So we put up big 4 foot by 8 foot signs. The Shema Arina Tefillah. We're davening here Rosh Hashanah Kippur. We put them up on early 6 o'clock in the morning, Friday morning, and because we knew that a permit they wouldn't give us, so we put them 6 in the morning. They hung for Friday night and Shabbos, and then Sunday morning people come to shul. They said, Rabbi, the signs are missing. So how could that be? I called the police. So he said, do you have anybody who wishes you ill or anything? I said, we have problem with neighbors. Which neighbors? I gave them all kinds of neighbors. This one, that one, the next one I gave them this conservative reform temple. So he called me back and said, Rabbi, I have your signs. What happened? It was Labor Day weekend, and a building inspector should not be called out of retirement on Labor Day weekend unless it's something that's threatening the very welfare of the community. So the building inspector with a policeman on Sunday morning, Labor Day weekend, came and removed our signs without any kind of legal proceeding, without serving us with a so Kitzer, I called him, of course, this Benny Goldstein, our lawyer, so he said, okay, I'll be in there. He said, no, we'll take care of everything. On Tuesday morning, I'm sitting in his office, and he's dictating to his secretary, dictating a letter to the town attorney, and he said, well, yes, it's illegal. He says according to the Constitution, freedom of worship, this and that. He said it's illegal. They can't do it, and it's against the Constitution. And as per statute, so and so, chapter. No, he said, strike it out. He said, let them look for it. He said, I'll tell them where it is. So he said they'll find somehow to rebuttal it. He said, they said, then I'll have to go back and forth. This way they want, I don't think they'll ever find it, he said. And he said, and they don't want their ignorance to show. So the Machashvai, oh, he was so right, my goodness. He just wrote, it's unconstitutional, that's all. Where did he get this from? Oral Torah. So our old Torah is even 100,000 times more true and more and full force, more than that. What you can get by sitting by the feet of our great people, our great Talmidei Chachomim, infused together with the actual halach itself, is something that can only be through the oral law. Razak Baruch Hu Zakish Israel. The thing of heaven to miss, we should never. I'm not going to